one. Okay, quickly, can you read up the script so that we can have our guests? But before that, before even reading the script, let me introduce my guests. I have two Zoom guests joining us. I do not know if Barrister has joined already, but I have with me in the house is Chris Asilome. He's welcome. I dragged him from a Tuesday to a Monday. It was difficult, but I know was going to do that for me. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. It's an amazing one having you here.
It's always amazing being here.
I hope we did not break any building to get you here.
In fact, it was a tour that went down.
Oh, wow. Anyway, as much as I'm excited, I was still render my apologies for having to change your schedule. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, and we also have Comrade Ola Agbola. He's the State Coordinator, Center for Anticipation and Open Leadership in Ogun State, and also a social commentator. Can we have him on the screen? Good afternoon, Comrade.
Good afternoon. Compliment of the season. It's my pleasure to be here once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Compliment of the season to you too, and compliment of the season to you, Mr. Chris.
Yeah,
we're coming to your house to eat Christmas chicken.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But maybe one of you come to my house, the other will go to Comrade.
Okay,
I will go to your house.
I do not know if we have barristers. If barristers joined us, please can we flash him on the screen? If not, we'll just go ahead with the program. Okay, we have Barrister. Barrister, thank you so much for joining. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, he's a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst. Good afternoon, sir. Compliment of the season and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. But now that the two of you have a place to go, we all will come to my own house.
Don't worry, sir. So I will come to your own house for Christmas. I will also come to Mr. Chris's
New Year.
So it's settled. Okay, all right. So we're talking about the tax reform bill, and we'll just shed a little clip of Taiwo Oyedele when he was making his speech at the House. So let's quickly read up the story before we get our reactions quickly.
All right. So, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has alleged that the federal government has nothing to show for more than 60 taxes and levies collected across the country. He made the claim at the Senate's plenary on Wednesday. He further noted that the FG intend to halt the situation where Nigerian businesses are forced to pay tax even in the face of losses, compelling the need to scrutinize the system through key reforms. Oyedele is leading the charge for the controversial proposed fiscal policy and tax reform bill.
Okay, now, from all indications, basically, I think Taiwo Oyedele's statement is that he's saying that there's nothing to show for over 60% of the taxes and levies that has been collected across Nigeria. And of course, I'll start with you, Chris, because you have always supported a tax reform bill, even though we have all the guests and even before the camera behind the scene, a lot of people are disagreeing to that. Not that they do not want a way forward in Nigeria, but because things are not working and if it is just more like a death sentence for Nigerians. So what is your take on what Taiwo Oyedele said during the week?
Okay, let me start by commending the efforts of Mr. Taiwo Oyedele and his team, because I think they resumed this assignment, I think last year, June, and they've done a whole lot to come to this point. And then individually, or rather personally, Mr. Oyedele has visited over 180 nations to study taxation, and all of that. He's put in a lot of work to get to this point. Now, the struggle we're having with the tax reform is just evident of how unserious we are as a nation, because the current tax system we're running on is a mess, a complete mess. It's such porous that tax evasion is easy, cheap. You'll be shocked to know the number of people that are paying tax and not paying tax. It's so porous and horrible. That's why we have nothing to show for it, because it's easy to evade. I mean, it's easy to just walk away from it and to manipulate the entire system and all of that, and it's very horrible. You understand? But you see, where we are now, the tax reform is an imperative. I keep saying that because look, you can't continue running what is faulty and expect a different result from what we are getting. So if we're going to get a better result, we need to look at the process all over again. And that's what reform is all about, resetting, reordering. You understand? That's what it is. But you see, it's pathetic that it has divided the nation into two. The southern part of Nigeria is disposed towards the tax reform, but the northern part is agitating against it seriously. And the truth is, why, despite the fact that the tax is taking a bit more from the federal government and pushing more resources to the states, but yet northern leaders, northern elites are coming up against it for these simple reasons. Number one, over the years, they've driven illiteracy in the north for political gains, for political control. They've driven insecurity in the north as political weapon, and as a result, they've made the north unattractive for investments. And what this tax reform is saying ultimately now is that, look, states, you will have to earn your tax. Because before now, what they do is, the headquarters of every company, where the headquarters is seated, is where they calculate the tax, particularly VAT, from. But now the reform is now saying, no, not necessarily where the company is seated, but where consumption takes place. That's the real thing. Because, for example, now, let's say MTN has this head office in Lagos, and the entire tax comes to Lagos. But the new form is now saying, no, let where their products are being consumed. That is where the tax will be calculated, which is fair to every other state. So what now happen is this: if your state is accommodating for investment, you have consumption. You understand? So it is based on your consumption. You have 60% derivation, which is good. Then you still share from the pool. But now, if your state is not conducive, you have very low tax to benefit from. That is where they not have a problem with because they know that presently they are not attracting enough investment, and then the fact is working for them because they do nothing. Even if they do nothing, they still collect facts every month. But now that system is going to change. You have to earn what you get now, and that is what they are dead afraid of. But ordinarily, the tax is favorable to the states because now the states are not going to be getting 55% of the tax. While federal government from 15 will come down to 10, and local government will retain 35%. So it's good for the state. But the only problem they actually have in there is that the fact that they have to earn what you share from as regards the tax, whatever, and they have not built conducive environment for investment, for business to strive. Because who will invest in a place that is, reading with the insecurity, where you have a high level of illiteracy and all of that? There will be much consumption in such areas. That's where they have a problem.
Okay, all right. We have Comrade. Comrade, do you agree with what Chris said? And of course, what's your opinion about the tax reform bill moving forward, actually?
Yeah, thank you. You see, even though we have to commend the job done by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele and his team, for the tax reforms agenda or policy of this present administration. But one thing we must put, in cognizance is that irrespective of whatever tax policy we are putting in place, we should think of the citizens first. Because average Nigerians cannot afford to pay, more tax. Because as it is now, they said nothing to show for over 60 taxes and levies collected across Nigeria. You see, it is better if those who are earning higher are paying higher. And like what the first, panelist said, that a state that is producing will receive higher than those states that are not doing anything. And some states or some region will be at disadvantage. So be that is where I want us to understand that presently Nigeria has a complex tax system with multiple taxes and levies collected by various government agencies. Despite the numerous taxes, many Nigerians feel that there is little to show for the revenue generated. Government should not be seen as a business. Government should not be seen as a business. We are talking of generating revenues and everything, at the detriment of Nigerians. But sometimes when we look at it, the most core objective of government should be welfare. Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, in his what I watched earlier, he said the government is going and borrowing. You know, there is no way Nigerian economy is being run by borrowing. All this while they have been clamoring, they have been talking about, you know, taxes and levies that has been, you know, a kind of multifaceted taxes regime, and all the money that has been generated ordinarily, which should form some of the basis for our IGR, is enough for us to use within the context of our economy. We don't need to be borrowing any longer. Mr. President jotted away to France the other time and be seeking for France support, grants, looking for grants. So why can we be running government based on grant? So Nigeria today, there are so many bodies. So the citizens should not be, excessively, stiffing, for government, to make money. Government is based on welfareism, a situation whereby the citizen cannot enjoy anything good from government. This is not Lagos. Nigeria is not Lagos. If you succeed in Lagos, you can see Lagos is more or less like an elitist state. You can't make Nigeria an elitist country. You should think of the majority, the impoverished majority of Nigerians. So Lagos is not by force you live in Lagos. You can move to other state or move to your own town, but there is no place our citizens can go to outside Nigeria. You can't suffocate. Our people are already suffocated, because of these multiple taxes and all the rest of it. So the numerous taxes and levies imposed on citizens, has led to everybody, reducing, citizens' disposable income and purchasing power, because there is a lot of all these taxes and levies ordinarily, and has make citizens to shy away from their obligations. So tax complexity is not what we really need at this moment, but tax simplicity. Let them make the tax reform so simple that people can understand. People can, my co-panelists mentioned about the evasion of tax. What has led to evasion of taxes? More complexities of taxes, has led to evasion of taxes. But when it is simplified, people will know the tax they are supposed to pay, and the tax administrators will also not be, running the tax, ministry or tax department or tax, body. They will not be running at loss. There won't be duplication of effort. There won't be waste of resources and so many other factors. So please, what we need now is, we don't need complexity, tax complexity. What we need is simplicity, so that people are ready to pay tax, so that the government can streamline it and people understand. So bringing about all this and rigorous, tax policies and everything will help us, to take us nowhere in this country. That's my take for now.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade. Thank you so much. I'm certain Chris is disagreeing with 90% of what you're saying. But before we come to you, we still have Barrister Tunji on the other line. So please, Barrister Tunji, what's your take about? Do you agree with what Chris said, or what Comrade said? In short form, I think Comrade is trying to say any other thing that is not about simplicity when it comes to tax. He's just he disagrees with that. He is, rather than being complex, let it be simple. But of course, we know where Chris is coming from. He believes in a tax reform bill, even though we still believe that some things need to be put in place before you can actually say you want to go ahead, with the tax reform bill. But what is your opinion about all of this?
Firstly, I do not want to either agree or disagree with any of my colleagues there. Rather, I want to make my own position. You see, I am not opposed to having a reform, not only in tax, in every situation must be reform. You cannot have a rule or regulation or law without any reform. Yes, I'm open to that. Without reform, just like Comrade said, we have multiplicity of taxes being paid by people. But you see, the sugar-coated mouth of Taiwo Oyedele and the proponent of this bill is not the solution to our problem. I'm not. When I say I'm not talking about the bill itself now. because some people are missing the point here, particularly what the Northerners are saying. For me, my understanding, the North are not opposed to the bill in entirety. They are not. What they are saying is that there is a particular position in that bill, but that is the fact. It's not going to be in their favor, and that the government should look into it and review it. That the proponents of the bill are saying no. So in order to force the government to consider what they are saying, they want to oppose it as a whole, so that the government will sit down and look at it. You see, when law are to be passed, it's not about what those who are proposing it thinks. It's about the wordings of the law. It's about the content of the law. But what people are looking at now, what people are carrying out, is what I will really say, is what this Mr. One commentator wrote, giving us the breakdown of the benefit of the bill. Yes, as there might be benefit in the bill, there will also be some disadvantages in the bill, which we have not seen, and we will not tell you. There are some things that are in that bill that if you don't read it, you will not see it, and they will not tell you. Those who know that it's going to affect them, they will only bring out the sweet one in the bill, and that's what they are doing now. For instance, and again, I want to also disagree when they say people should be able to work and get money based on what they do. Please tell me, what work is Lagos doing to be having people to consume to get more tax? What they put in place, specifically that make them to say, look, because of what the government Lagos is doing, that is why they are making more money from VAT. That's why they are making more money from this. What do they do? Please tell me. I don't know. They by default, Lagos was by default having this advantage. By default, they are not doing anything because one, because of the standard of their condition as a former state capital or whatever they are, a federal capital. Two, because there is an economic, everybody see Lagos as a place where everybody must come naturally, not because there's anything on, even when there's nothing on ground, people still want to come. So I have not seen. If you can tell me that, look, it's because this Lagos state government did this, it did that. That is why they are getting more fat. Fat is about consumption, and when we it's about fear, when we talk about consumption fats, most of these things has been consumed in Lagos that is bringing money to them are brought from the north. Tomato, yam, some of these things, and when they are coming from the north, they are not fatable. You won't put fat on it. You cannot, because that is the law. So when they now get to Lagos and it's being converted into yam, pounded yam, or some other things, and the tomatoes are being used as a soup and being sold everywhere, then people who are selling it will be collecting money. And people who are bringing it, who have done the farming, who have worked to ensure that this yam, this potato, whatever, comes up are out, don't be allowed to put out of it. For me, you see, we need to look at this thing critically. We must not allow sentiment to direct us. Talk about people who are not consuming alcohol and they want to make money from the alcohol. Yes, it may be. It may not be right. But the point is that, look, those who are not even also drinking alcohol, who are allowing alcohol, what are they doing differently? What special work are they doing to make them earn what they are earning today? When we talk, we say Lagos is contributing 400 billion as fat. How does that 400 billion cost about? Is it because of the work of Lagos State? Which work do they do to earn it? So the point those people are saying is that, look, if you look at the wordings of this tax law, it's not going to favor them, and therefore let's look at it and discuss it again. They are not saying take it away, trash it. No, they say please take it up first. Let's go to the table and discuss. Don't be an advantage. When you're already at an advantage, discussion will be difficult. So let's withdraw the task from the National Assembly. Let's go to a place where everybody will be able to discuss. At the National Assembly, only few people are allowed to discuss. Even as a member of the National Assembly, if you are not, they know your stand and you are raising up your hand, they won't call you. So you won't be able to contribute. So when people are talking about let's it go past through the normal process, they know what they are talking about because they know it will be influenced. And when people say yes, they will say nay, have it. When they say nay, they will say yes, have it. And that will be the position. So the point is that what we call public hearing at the National Assembly is not public hearing. It's just a mere assemblage of certain people. They will bring up people they know they can control, bring them together, and they say they've done public hearing. And everybody, for example, now they want to do public hearing in Abuja. The people in Lagos State may not be aware until a day two. The publication will be done a day two, and they will expect you to go to Abuja with your transportation or whatever to go and make your contribution at the public hearing. When you go to that public hearing, you may not even be allowed to enter. They will say you are not invited. And they say public hearing. So for me, I'm not opposed to having a reform regarding this our tax. I'm not opposed to having, but I am in support of us looking at the bill properly before being passed. This is how majority of Nigerians were deceived to believe that subsidy is our problem. And everybody that time, people like us were saying it, that subsidy was not our problem. That the management of the subsidy is the problem, not subsidy itself. But most Nigerians, the airlines, even the professionals, the experts, were telling us once subsidy is removed, Nigeria will become Eldorado and we have more money to spend. Now we are subsidy has been removed. Everything is difficult. We can't reverse back. Nothing is moving. That is how they will be going into this tax net, and then by the time they start implementation, we begin to see the hidden agenda inside it. They will not be complaining. So for me, it's better for us to look at it, to break it, to put it down. Let's see. Everybody that give me a summary of this bill that is telling me this bill will support with this property, this bill will give so number. Let him quote particular law under that bill that says so. I don't want to listen to what he's saying. I want to see the law itself. So people don't just give me summary. Give me the law itself. I'm a lawyer. I want to see what will be your own interpretation. May not be my own interpretation. We have not been told that in this bill that we're talking about now, upon completion, that there will be a particular consultant that will be employed, just like in Lagos State, where we have Alpha Beta, that is collecting tax everywhere and is taking percentage. Is that what we are going through? The one that's been collected in Lagos State, the by Alpha Beta, somebody is taking 30%, 40% individual, and the state is taking 60%, and you say that is a good one. So I'm not going to say condemn the bill, and I'm not going to support it for now until I read through all the bills. I've not gone through all the bills, not all. I've done two parts. So, but I know as a lawyer that what I will tell you will not be the law when there's a disagreement. What is in the law or the wordings of the law will be what the court will look into, not what I will say when they want to fight to pass it. So the National Assembly members will do us a favor if they will go through the bill without sentiment, not about because it's from the president. I don't want to see as being against the president. I want to support it. No, but that's what we'll do. You see, that's why you see when the budget is to be passed, National Assembly members don't read it. They just pass it. After passage, some people now come up and say they discover padding, they discover this and that because there was no proper scrutiny of the bill. So for me, I am a lawyer. There is nothing bad in opposing or raising your own opposition to a bill. There is nothing bad in it. And when you raise your opposition, everybody should consider it and look at it. So there is not, we should not call ourselves names just because somebody is saying I'm not confident that this bill will favor me. I want to know why you want this bill to be. Come and explain to me. That's not bad enough. It's not bad enough. It's not be an issue where people will now say because they are asking questions, they are raising concern, then they don't want progress of the country. No, I don't want to believe that. For me, it is better to do it thoroughly and delay it before passing it than do it fast, and thereafter they announce that you have done a wrong thing. For me, it will be difficult for you to correct. So I want to align myself with the northern leaders and the governors who are saying that look, let's tarry a bit. Let's look at the law again. Let's agree. Let's consult. Let's consider it. Consult and see whether or not what our disagreement or whatever we are complaining is, and explain to us so that we'll be able to understand, and then we'll be able to say, okay, we are okay with it or we're not okay with it. There's nothing bad in it, as far as I'm concerned. We need to ask questions. You must be asking questions, and when you ask questions, you must not be seen as an opposition. You must not be seen as against a particular progress. It's our right to ask questions. Not asking questions and taking things the way they are is the reason why we are today. That's my position.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister. I love, I'm in line with what you actually said because it's very important. A lot of people are in support of the bill and would just rather pass the bill without even going through it properly. And like you said, you're a legal practitioner, so you need to go through things before you even sign them into law. And presently, we have 48-member House of Rep from the Northeast that has rejected the reform tax bill. I know you have something to say.
Just something simple.
Yeah,
very briefly. I think we would do a lot of
they've not
to the
rejected the bill.
without getting the details of the bill, either to be in favor or opposed to it, because the bill is in the public space. And Taiwo Oyedele has been very vocal about the bill.
Yeah.
I've taken pain to listen to him, to read through the bill and all of that. Some of the issues we are raising here as concern, whatever, were addressed by the bill. For example, some people have the opinion that the bill will be taxing Nigerians more, but no, but the reverse is the case. Because before now, I mean right now, if you earn as little as 30,000 per month, you'll be forced to pay tax.
Yeah.
But now the present bill is proposing that you have to earn more than 1 million per annum before you can pay tax.
Okay.
That means it is exempting the poor from paying tax. So it is pro-poor.
Okay.
You understand? Because why 30,000 naira per monthly earner in Nigeria pay tax? In Kenya, you have to earn up to 200,000 before you can pay tax. In South Africa, you have to earn up to 600,000 before you can pay tax. And then this bill is taking us to that level, so that the poor can be exempted. Even as a company, if you earn anything less than 50 million per annum, you don't have to pay any tax. That's what the bill is proposing. So it's helping young companies to grow. It's helping the poor, and the bill is saying it also captured this duplicity, whatever. And they say, look, make it simple, make it clear to address all of that. Do you understand what I'm here? And again, like President Nigeria is in top 10 of heavily taxed nations in the world. They even tax your asset, they tax your capital. And if they say you don't do that, let the asset be there so that you tax profit. Because in Nigeria, the current taxation system, even when you make a loss as a company, you still pay tax. But the present bill is saying, no, you can't do that. You understand? Now, what I'm saying, why the governors are actually opposed to this, because even I was watching a program earlier this morning, I was saying, look, the governors not opposing to this is because the truth must be told. Over the years, political system has weaponized illiteracy in the north. They weaponized insecurity in the north. And with all of that, they've not built business environment in the north. So what the northern elite are angry with the bill is the issue of 60% derivation from collection of tax. But because they know they do not have the environment to assess such fund, right? Because presently, either they do something or nothing, they still get FAC. But now the system is now saying that for you to get that kind of 60% derivation, you have to have huge consumption in your state. But unfortunately for the north, they don't have the system on ground for such huge consumption. So if you're not going to talk about delay implementation, I will agree to that. But they need to take time to now develop their space, understanding this now, that you have to earn from what you have to earn from what you've developed. Fine, give them in terms of what's it called, delayed implementation. But lastly, the barrister said that what has Lagos done in particular to arbitrary weather, but there is so much Lagos have done. Years before now, Lekki was pool of water, nothing. But as we speak now, Lekki is worth billions of dollars. That's where you have Dangote refinery. Do you know what Dangote refinery will be? What is dropping in terms of tax? These are things you do as a state. You make your state attractive to mega investments. You understand? And they come, and then you tax them. That's how you grow a state. That's how you grow a nation. So Lagos has done much to make Lagos attractive for businesses, for people to move in. What's it called? Real estate is booming in Lagos because they created that platform. So let every state do that. Make your state safe. Make it safe from insecurity. Make it attractive for business, and people will go there. People want where things are happening. So take that work. Make that hard work. Do that. That's how you develop as a nation. That's how you develop as a people. Encourage literacy. You know, so that's what you need to do. But you see, we've not read much. I have taken my pain to read it, and I know this is one of the best things that happened to Nigeria. But unfortunately, a lot of people have not read it. Even a pastoral governor came on there yesterday, and it was just dishing out ignorance, misinforming the public, and all because they've not taken time to study the bill. The bill is pro-poor, 100% pro-poor. The bill is helping small companies to grow. And it's also saying to states, it's giving more money to states. Sales tax go to states. More money, but then you just have to work to earn it. It's as simple as that.
Okay, all right. We can't take much because our time is already up. I knew you were never going to agree with most of the things my guest has said. But anyways, moving on. But one thing is important and is sure is that I think I will go a bit with what Comrade said is it has to be simplicity and not complexity. But if what you're saying is what it is, and I think it's as simple as that
It's
already.
simple and very clear.
And also,
He made it simple.
And also,
actually.
what Barrister said is the fact that people need to read up and know if there are any clause and make sure it is being sorted before
Agreed.
it's being passed into law,
Agreed.
so we do not have issues. Because I know what it is to start making an amendment. Take our constitution, for example, what it took us to amend the 1999 constitution.
We are still in the process.
Exactly, that's the point. So that's what he's trying to avoid for the future. Anyways, let's go over to the next topic, Covenant.
All right, so quickly, old PH refinery working at 90% NNPC. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has clarified that the newly activated 60,000 barrels per day old Port Harcourt is currently working at 90% capacity and not 70% as stated by the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron. Petron had on Thursday said the refinery is currently operating at 70% of its installed capacity, with plans to ramp up to 90%. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, on Tuesday announced that the Port Harcourt refinery has commenced crude oil refining. However, in a statement signed by NNPCL spokesperson Olufemi Shoneye on Friday, said although the nameplate of the refinery is 60,000 barrels of oil per day, it is now functioning and is now functioning at 90% capacity. I do have a question for this.
All right, please, you can address your question.
All right, so Chris, what do you think, or do you think, or what improvement do you think the old the PH refinery, made for them to get to 90% of capacity? What improvement do you think happened?
Okay, for a start, I think we need to recognize and then celebrate little baby success.
Okay.
Because if these refineries have been moribund for 28 years, and eventually they're working now, at least producing something now,
yes,
it's something is a sign to say, okay, fine, well, it's upward. At least the hope is rising. That's it. But in terms of output, the significance is little or nothing, because Max, what the capacity of the old refinery is quite low. It's just going to be doing 1.4 million daily, and then Dangote is doing 28 million, okay, and then so you have 1.4. Well, I mean, it can't even go around the south. You understand? I think presently Nigeria's daily consumption is about 36 million, okay. Dangote is single-handedly doing 28 million, okay, and the old refinery, the old Port Harcourt is doing 1.4. So it cannot even give competition to Dangote.
Okay.
So for what we are saying is we need competition, right? So all of the refineries need to come together to be able to give Dangote that competition. But like I said, obviously 1.4 million is next to nothing, but then it's a baby success we need to celebrate. Okay, at least those in that region, south, southeast, at least can have immediate benefits of that, distribution and all of that. At least one thing that this has guaranteed Nigerians is that the scarcity of fuel has been knocked out.
Okay.
That for me is a huge plus. Right. Now we have Dangote producing here, we have the refinery producing, and with the promises of others coming up, the new refinery, whatever, coming up, Warri, Kaduna, and all of that, and we have Dangote doing this. So it's beautiful, it's fine. So at least that will be addressed. So progressively we are moving. But talking about where it is now is not actually impressive.
Okay.
But we can take a whole lot from it, from the fact that look at where we're coming from, where we are, and the prospect of where we're going. So for me, I'll be positive and optimistic about that.
All right.
Okay. All right. Comrade, I would like to ask, I do know for a fact that the Port Harcourt refinery is not refining, but I'll put it more like mixing.
Blending?
So, but what's your take about this? Because a lot of people, some persons were rejoicing that the refinery is up and kicking, and a lot of us thought it was refining until we found out that it wasn't refining. It was more of mixing the product to get what we want. So the big question a lot of people are asking is, are we still refining outside the country and bringing it down to just mix and consume? But what's your take also to the refinery not functioning well yet at 90%?
Well, thank you so very much. Port Harcourt refinery, is long overdue, to come to be revamped. But we give glory to God Almighty that at last, after spending so much humongous amount of money,
Oh, yeah.
running to millions of dollars, we
Billions
are
of
now
dollars, sir.
seeing it
Over 10 billion US
coming
dollars,
out now, to dispense petroleum products at a very low rate. Well, we have to still watch, because the end, they say, shall justify the means. But ordinarily, what is my own concern is about, even though today, if Port Harcourt refinery has been revamped, tomorrow Kaduna and Warri refinery comes, to the mainstream. What is the concern of an average Nigerian is to see that petroleum products, the pricing of petroleum products is very, very, very low. We cannot afford presently to be buying fuel at the rate of 1,000 naira. If the competition is there between this, government-owned refineries and Dangote refinery, Dangote is selling at 970 to marketers today. What would have, make me to be more happy and to be fulfilled is if Port Harcourt refinery now comes out and be selling to marketer at the rate of 350 or 400 naira. I think that would be a thing of joy, at least, for us in the, civil society organizations. But if they are still, still close to whatever Alhaji Aliko Dangote is selling, it shows they are not doing Nigeria any good. Because a government-owned refinery, to be running optimally, and the pricing of whatever product that is coming there should be pocket friendly, to an average Nigerian. Nigeria should be able to buy it at a very lower price than what the private sector, will be selling. So I don't need to be too, overzealous or be happy, over the revamping of the Port Harcourt refinery. But as I've said, my own joy, my happiness, and the happiness and the joy of almost every Nigerian is to sell this product at a very, very, very lower price, lower price. So to say, if we are still buying it at this rate that is being sold, there is no result. We haven't achieved anything. So petroleum products must come down to the barest minimum for Nigerians to access it, and let the competition. We need healthy competition. Like I saw on the media, Alhaji Aliko Dangote traveled to Luanda in Angola, to acquire oil well, from the Angola government. So maybe he has been seeing the handwriting on the wall. It is possible that maybe some of these butchers are the ones that have been making the Nigerian refineries, not to come, to life. But now that maybe let us give a little kudos to the present government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for at least after successive government have wasted taxpayers' money on all this refinery, and he's trying now. He has come back to put it. So maybe the handwriting is now written on the wall. Alhaji Aliko Dangote is now saying that the Nigerian economy, the Nigerian space may not be healthy for him, to market his product based on the humongous amount he has spent on his refinery of about $15 billion. So my own joy, my final thing is the refinery to operate at optimal level and reduce the price. Anything less than 500 naira, is just it's not something that we can, praise the government over. We don't want 1,000 naira per liter for PMS.
Okay, comrade, I would like
that is
to,
just that economic.
there because of our time. Comrade, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, I'm with you.
All right, apologies, but I have to stop you there because of our time. I really need to get Barrister Tunji's reaction. Okay. Apologies, Barrister Tunji's reaction before we wrap up, because we have less than 5 minutes to go. So please, Barrister Tunji, what's your take on all of this? Listening to what Comrade has said and what Chris has also said in the studio, in 2 minutes, basically 2 minutes, can't do more than 2 minutes. What's your take on all of this? And like I said, my question still stands. We are not refining. I do not even know why I was saying PH refinery. We are not refining. We are mixing. And at this point, the big question a lot of people have is, where are we not getting these things we're mixing? Are we still importing them? Does that even help? And like Comrade said, the prices of these things are supposed to reduce since we now have 2 functionary refinery in Nigeria, so to say. So, but what's your take with all of this? Very quickly.
It is unfortunate that we are here where we are, and it's unfortunate that the government is not sincere. The government is not telling us the truth. Imagine our president, a old president, celebrating the fact that Port Harcourt refinery is now producing, whereas it is not. That is deceit from the old president of the country. You see, and that's why whenever the government says something, I don't always believe them, because they've not given that trust. They've not shown that they start to be trusted. We are in this country when a particular minister came with a particular airline and said that's Nigeria Air, and it was celebrated by the president. Then it was launched, and at the end of the day, it amounted to force. This also is looking the same way, because there's a difference between saying we are able to make some products here than saying you are producing now. That is misleading. It's misleading, because this today people are saying that nothing is being produced in that place, and we are celebrating it. And for me again, even if we are able to produce now the way they are talking about, that cannot give Dangote competition. How many liters would that product bring? How many months, how many years will it take him to operate and not break down again? So for me, I think we need to do more. We need to be more sincere. The government should be more sincere. The government should be more. We should not be playing politics with everything. It's not about achievement for 2027, so that you will say you have done this, you have done that, so that you'll be able to say you have achieved this, you have achieved that. No, let's work in the interest of the nation. Stop deceiving us. Let's know. Call a spade a spade. Let's know where you are going. If things are not working, if you have done your best, tell us. We have done our best, so it appears this thing will not work. Then you come out and tell us the Port Harcourt is now producing, whereas you are not producing anything. You are meeting. That's not correct. That's unfair on the nation. For me, I am not expecting more. In fact, I will be surprised if we have this refinery come up and work properly. I will be surprised. I'm telling you. In fact, I will be surprised. If I were to be president, I will rejig the NNPCL management board, particularly Mele Kyari. I will have, if I were to be president. I don't know why the man is still there. This man was one of those people who ran the former NNPC grant. And the same person has been told that you now change the name and you not ask the same person to drive it. You have a car that has been run down by a driver because of his recklessness. Then you now refurbish the vehicle. Now say the same driver should come and drive it, and you expect a good result. You won't get it until we do the right thing. We will not get the right thing. I'm disappointed. That's my position.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister. Mr. Chris, I know you have something to say, but we cannot take any.
I'm good.
Okay, all right. But at this point, we would like to, like you said, I agree with what Barrister said rather, because when you say refinery, we know what refinery means.
Yeah.
And at this point, we can't actually call PH a refinery company. But anyways, moving on. At least we're still getting something from there, at least for the list. But anyway, I would like to appreciate all my 3 amazing guests, Barrister Tunji Avilamid and of course Comrade Ola Abola, for joining us all the way within Lagos and on the stage, obviously. Thank you so much for joining us. Can we have the both of them on the screen?
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
All right, thank you, Barrister. Thank you, Comrade. All right, and thank you, Chris, for joining us. Amazing one you had today. You had the show all to yourself today. Don't worry, next week is going to be for you on Tuesday.
Oh, fine. That would be great. That would be great.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, we'll call it a wrap today on The Buzz. We'll continue tomorrow. We have a lot of trending videos and, of course, things will keep happening in Nigeria. So we'll bring it to your table right here on the program, same time, 12 o'clock. Noon, 12 noon or 12:05. We'll see you again. My name is Rose Blossom, and of course, I'm my co-host.
Yes, I am the Lagos girl, and like Rose Blossom said, see you tomorrow. Same time, same host, same co-host. See you tomorrow.
Do have a lovely day. Bye for now.